Hi, my name is Hafiz K. I'm the co-founder of erides.com, and today we are starting a new show called Wheel Talk.
Wheel Talk?
Wheel Talk.
With who? Wheel people.
That actually gets me all the time. So I'm here talking to wheel people. First, to my left is Paul. Paul, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I'm originally a wheel customer of e-rides, and prior to that, I was a big advocate for e-scooters, using it for my day-to-day commute, and finding a fellow e-scooter rider basically got me hooked without doing anything. He just rode past me.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's the way forward. That is how you should commute. Literally, no effort, get to work, straight at your desk, bing bang bong, you're at your desk working. After that, I just was looking for more speed, and scooters just weren't delivering. They're clunky, heavy. The more power you have, the more awkward they are, particularly with gathering on a train. So, hence the UCs, and they offer the speed, the range, the power, the movability, I guess, the nimbleness that you need when you want to get in and out of a tricky situation. And that's where e-rides came along and promptly delivered, literally at my door.
Literally. I honestly, that day I just thought, you know what? I used to go to university in Kingston, right? So when I saw your address, I just thought, let me just, I've not been to Kingston for quite some time. So I thought it was an opportunity for me to come back to my old home, and I delivered to you personally.
Exactly. Not literally your old home, you didn't live here.
No, clear. I mean, Kingston, sorry. That's
I didn't steal his house. So
yeah. So that's how we met.
Indeed.
And and we have Rosie, or as we call her, E-Rise Rosie.
Hello. Hi. So, you guys may have seen my video of day 1 and day 2, and I promise you that is real. That is what happened. So, Paul actually phoned me and said, "Come and have a go on this." So I tried it. And my background is that I was British ice skating champion when I was 16. I've done quite a lot of skiing, so there's quite a lot of movement in my background anyway. But as soon as I tried this, I was on it, and I was it's so much fun to be able to move like that in town. And I'm loving it. So so that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, well, I think obviously you being a British champion in ice skating is a little bit of an unfair advantage. Come on, seriously.
I mean, if you come with me ice skating, I can make you that good too.
Touche. Good, so good. So, Rosie, what should we talk about today? What do you want to know?
So I've heard that there's lots and lots about these new wheels.
Yeah.
So I'd like you to tell me about them, because I've been doing this for a month and a half or something.
Yeah.
So it's not a very long time. So when I hear all these things about the new wheels, I hear all these numbers and they don't actually mean anything. And so I'm really glad that we've got this conversation so I can actually learn about them and know what all these stats mean. So could we start talking about the Veteran Abrams?
Abrams.
Indeed.
Yeah. What do you want to go for?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, obviously, I've never actually been right front and centre with the wheel. This is purely what I've seen online. Yeah. But it seems to me like it's taken from the RoboCop movie, the new ones. They've basically taken the same look, the style, the ribbing. That they've kept the U frame, which is fantastic, because that's a deal breaker for if they removed it for many customers, I'd say. The ability to brake with it, the ability to obviously protect your wheel, it will last with something like that in place, so it makes sense for them to keep it. The talking point around it has really been the power. Like they've reduced the battery capacity, they've kept the same voltage, they made it bigger and they made it heavier. So the question they've got to ask themselves is why have they done that really? And Fees, maybe you can help me with that.
Yeah. So good question. I've also asked Leopard Kim, or Veteran, however you want to call them, or however they call themselves. So I asked them the same question, and the reply back is that the motor in the Abrams is a totally different motor to the one in the Sherman. Now, the one in the Sherman, I believe, is a 2,800 watt motor. It's a high-speed motor, which means it's got lower torque but high-end speed.
Yep.
What they wanted to do was, remedy was that the Sherman had low torque, and a lot of people used to blow up their balls when they're trying to go anything more than 20 degrees hill. So that was the biggest issue that they had with the Sherman. So they wanted to remedy that by putting a torque-oriented motor. Now, typically with a torque-oriented motor, you lose a bit of top end speed. So I've asked them, so have you then increased the voltage? Because normally, if you increase the voltage, that also helps you increase the top speed. And that's what we're going to talk about with the S20. So keep on listening to this. I know we're going to talk more about the S20 later on. So they've told me that they've done some algorithm changes to the way the wheel balance and rides, and as a result, this wheel will have comparable or equal top speed to the Sherman, which is about 55 miles an hour, depending on how much you weigh, but it's 55 miles an hour. But what's so weird is they've also decreased the battery capacity, and the Sherman used to have the Panasonic battery, which is supposed to be a better version of what they use. I think they're using a Samsung now or something.
Probably, imagine so.
Yeah, Samsung. So it's all kind of up in the air. I'm sure they have a surprise for us. Maybe they finally cracked the code, or maybe they said, I don't know what they've done, but they seem pretty confident that we will be very happy with the Abrams. What I'm not happy about is the weight of the Abrams.
Indeed. Yeah.
44 kilograms, I don't know what you guys think, but that's way too heavy.
Yeah.
It's very heavy
Way
for
too
someone
heavy.
like me.
Well, yeah. And we were talking before about, manufacturing or the manufacturers in general, all 5 of them, I believe, needing to know what the market is, needing to understand how they can, because ultimately all of these businesses, they want to make money, right? And to do that, you need to go mass market, and to go mass market, you need to understand what the customer, the market needs. I personally don't think that, the market needs heavy wheels, because most people don't do more than 40-50 miles of range. Even 40-50 miles of range in a car, most people don't drive more than 40-50 miles in their car on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
On average.
Not on a day-to-day basis.
No.
Yeah, exactly. No, on a day-to-day basis. So I think there's a trick being missed here, because they're so focused on trying to outdo each other.
Exactly that.
That they're missing the point that the market doesn't actually need all of this speed and all of this weight.
Yeah.
Then again, just before, let me just finish up on this as well. In terms of why I think, I'm just thinking right now, why I think the Abrams probably weigh as much as it does is maybe because the motor has more magnets. I think I mentioned this earlier. The motor has more magnets, which then adds more weight. And I think the majority of the weight is from the motor. Because they've told me that it's a torque-oriented motor. So that's why I think the weight has gone up. Yeah.
So you've got much more weight, but comparable speed. Okay.
Yeah.
Between the Sherman and the Abrams.
Well, that's what they claim.
Yeah.
We're probably going to have to put that to the test. We've got quite a few fast riders in the UK. The guys from Newcastle. Shout out to Brian from Zuril as well. Yeah. So we're definitely going to test that out. And I'm sure people like V in the US will also try it out as well. She's going to test it. But yeah.
I think I agree with what you're saying about the weight. The weight is a big issue. So we've talked about before when the Sherman came out, now it's 35.
Yeah.
That was obviously when you go very quickly at that speed, and it's wet surface or an unmanageable surface, or an experienced rider and they lose it and it goes. If they're not tethered to it, it will just fly off. It could hit somebody. It could damage a car, hits a child, whatever it might be. If you've got that, but then you go up the next level to 44, what's to stop that being even worse, with an even heavier wheel? So it does beg the question, from a safety point of view, how is that going to be manageable if there's a problem? It seems like a
and also
concern.
like lifting these things in and out of your car. I mean, the wheels that I've been using to lift those in and out. Yes, this one behind me actually may or may not have ridden here. But these, as I'm lifting them in and out the car, if I'm going somewhere that's not straight from home, I find them quite weighty. And to lift it, I have to prepare myself.
Oh, yeah.
So to add another 10 kg, that's a lot. That's nearly 2 stone.
Yeah, you
isn't
just
it?
cancel your gym membership and buy for me rides.
Abrams on each arm.
Oh man, that's crazy. That is crazy.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's Veteran Abrams. So what do you think about the Commander? Because we spoke a bit earlier about the Commander, and you actually like the
I
Commander.
like the Commander. I think, as I said, they've taken the good parts of MSP, the lights. They've taken obviously the handle element from other manufacturers. They've kept the power. They've kept the weight to a degree, from what I read, about 38. But if that's true, it's great, and that will obviously be in theory a very very good EXN replacement.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, there is no way that weight is 38 kg. I mean, listen, like, honestly, there's no way. But we'll be finding out very soon anyway. But there's no way it's 38 kg.
What makes you say there's no way the weight is 38?
Okay, well, I mean, just purely on specs alone, right? It's a 3,600 watt-hour battery.
That's the biggest one
That-
we've spoken about so far, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the biggest battery you see that we have on the market right now is the Monster Pro, and that weighs 45 kg. But saying that, the Monster Pro is a 24 diameter wheel, so maybe 2 kg, 3 kg here and there. Best case scenario is a 41 kg wheel or 42 kg.
So
the Commander, that is.
So the Monster Pro has a bigger wheel than the Commander,
Yeah.
but it's somehow the Commander's somehow managed to knock off like
What, 8?
how many 8
Or 7, 8?
kilos. Yeah, and that's not in the wheel.
No. I think there's a little bit of, again, marketing mumbo jumbo going on there.
Oh yeah.
Honestly,
It'd be nice if when it arrives and you look at it, you eat your words. You're like, no, this is a brilliant light
right.
wheel, and it does everything
It
we
looks
do.
metallic. It was probably made out of tin. Like, really light. Like, it looks great, but you drop it, it's broken.
Yeah,
Like,
broken,
it's just,
yeah.
that's what will happen. But
Yeah, it looks okay. So the Commander is made by a new company called Extreme Bull, and they are in collaboration or partnership, or however you want to say. I'm not sure how what the relationship is there, but there is some sort of connection between Begode, who makes the Monster Pro and all the other RS19, and this new company. Now, as you probably know, whenever there's a new product that comes out, there's always that initial first batch issue.
exactly. Yeah.
Not only is this a newish company, but it's also their first wheel. They've been smart enough, though, to borrow some of the components from Begode. So it's probably right now maybe about 50-60% Begode, and about 40% their new, but it's still a high percentage of unknown, right?
So 60% likely to catch fire.
60%. But yeah, that's and that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Because like people, even with Begode, they still have their own issues. So if you then throw in the fact that there's a newer company now, from the words that promise that have been given by Begode is that the newly improved EXN and the RS19, they've fixed majority of the bearing issue, which was what they were having initially, right? But there is still a bit of that unknown. I'll rather wait until I get the Commander here for you guys to test. Yeah,
Indeed.
so and I think we should be
Can't wait.
Yeah, we should be getting them. We should be getting the Commander hopefully end of September.
Cool. Fantastic.
As
Is that the
in-
same with Abrams as well?
Same as Abrams, as in the sample version, the first sample, not the production. So what we normally do is we will get the manufacturers to ship the products to us. So what they'll do is they'll take out the battery out of the shell, and then they'll ship it to us separately, and then we then assemble it together here. And then we will do our tests. We'll share the new wheels with the engineers. They will open it up, look at all of the parts that they feel might break easily, so that we can restock those and have them available for warranty purposes as well. So all that will happen around middle to end of September, hopefully.
So mid to end of September.
Mid to end of September.
Hopefully, you should have the Commander.
Yeah, we should have the Commander.
Oh, that's exciting! You heard it here first.
Yeah, and one of the things, the Commander actually comes in two variants, right? So we've got a high torque and a high speed, which is very similar to the RS. And I know your wheel as well, the EXN.
Yeah.
there's going to be a high torque version of your EXN. Yeah.
So can we just quickly break down high torque versus high speed? Obviously, high speed does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
And high torque obviously is high torque, but what does high torque really mean if you have a wheel which is high torque? How does that benefit the wheel?
I can start with, and obviously you can then elaborate.
I've ridden
more.
both. So
You've ridden both, right?
Yeah,
so with the high torque, what you get is better acceleration. You get that initial instant torque that electric vehicles in general are great for. You know, this is why people go for electric vehicle more than internal combustion engine cars, for example. But with the high torque, it's wounded up. The motor's wound up to give you more power initially, but the power band has been moved a little bit forward. So you get all of that power that the motor can give you initially, but the top end is lacking that speed.
Okay.
So for the RS19, because the RS19, the top speed is probably about 36 miles an hour to about 38 miles an hour. But the high speed version of the RS19 is about 47 to 48.
Okay.
That's a big.
So if you were kind of wanting to do maybe slightly more intricate things and things like maybe jumps and things like that, where you're not wanting to hit these really high speeds, you would go for something with high torque over something with high speed.
Absolutely.
Ah, good. So they're catering for the speed demons and the off-road market by delivering these two models.
Yes.
That makes complete sense. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you find now that, especially with the current legal status that we have in the UK, a lot of electric unicycle riders are now doing or using their wheels off-road.
Indeed.
It is now becoming more of a sport now. So the high torque version and variants of these wheels are now becoming a lot more popular. So we believe that the EXN high torque, when it does come out, is actually going to be very popular, because even you don't go about 35, 38 miles an hour most of the time.
I do.
You do? When did you become a speed demon?
Tell
it
everyone
happened so
about
quickly.
the ride that you were telling me about today.
Yeah.
So he said, I was just going for a cruise today, and then what?
I did 45, but
You did 45?
Yeah.
On an EXN?
Yeah. I don't realise I'm doing it. That's the thing. I've got to this place where I'm just like, this is quite relaxed and quite comfortable.
Wow.
And I look at the speed stats when I get off. I'm like, the speed was 45 today. And I don't really. It doesn't feel out of place for me. I'm handling the wobbles quite nicely.
Yeah.
Like when I was filming at the Carve.
Yeah.
I was wobbling a lot and trying to actually crouch, and that's something I don't ride crouching a lot. But that's hence the wobbling. But it was. Smooth sailing. Like when I'm literally in my comfort zone, where I live, it's usually very, very easy just to get to those speeds. So, and it's just I just get used to that point. I know I'm going to break 50. I have actually done it once already. 53 is my PB. But
when?
That was in Liverpool. But but
I love that you look so surprised. When?
it's not my fault. That's a
because,
lie. It is actually my fault.
Because you were hanging out. Because you were hanging out with the the Newcastle lads.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
What rides and his crew. I was trying to keep up with them, and they just force you naturally to keep up with them. So but it's one of those things which
you kept that quiet. Is it because?
Tell anyone. Don't tell my wife.
No, that's crazy. Yeah.
But so this is why I can totally understand why you've got the Abrams, the Commander, those two wheels in particular.
Yeah.
Those are the ones which people are looking at going, oh, maybe I can get that next one to push me to that next level. Even though the Sherman is here right now and will get you to that level, as will the EXN. So both of those are there. But if they want something which has a bit more to it potentially. Then, which we don't know yet, like the Eagle, for example, that might have something new. Yeah. That's where people are going to be, inquisitive a bit more and drawn in.
Sure.
Can we talk about the Hero for a bit?
Yeah.
Should we do that?
It's so the Hero, right? It's so unfair, and I'll tell you why it's so unfair. I think the Hero was supposed to be, and probably is still going to be, Begode's hero to save them from all the bad press that they've had so far. But the S20 I just come in and just kind of taken all that thunder away from it, and I kind of feel that the Hero is probably going to be, and one of the best wheels that's going to be released end of this year, stroke next year. So a bit about the Hero. The Hero has 1,800 watt-hour battery, which is the same as the RS is. It's a high torque, so in terms of top speed, probably about, as I said, between 36 to 38 miles an hour. But the Hero is a suspension wheel, and from what I've heard, and I've been speaking to people that have actually ridden the Hero, it's a bloody good suspension wheel. As in,
what type of suspension is it? Is it a shock? Or is it like the Emotions V11 style?
It's similar to the S18, which is air,
shock in the back.
Yeah, exactly. With the air suspension at the back.
Yeah.
But I have heard from very reliable sources that have actually ridden this wheel that it's a very good suspension wheel. Now, as you said, if you want to go off-roading, having a torque plus a goddamn good suspension together with that, it's just amazing. Like, you don't go over 30 miles an hour. Right. Going to 30 miles an hour, you've got that 8 miles an hour buffer, right?
Which is important.
Which is very important. And we know for sure that that motor in the RS19 torque works, and it works well. So there's less unknown in the Hero compared to, let's say, the S20, which is coming with 126 volt, which we've never had that before. It's coming, with some other components that we've never had before. So the Hero might actually be a very good wheel. We've not had it ourselves. The production, so today's day, production should probably start in about 45 days time, full production. We are going to get, obviously, our first initial model to e-rides. We're looking at around the beginning of October. And Rosie, obviously, you can try that.
It does sound like something I'd really like, because I'm quite enjoying going up and down little lips, and I think the off-roading bit for me right now is something that I quite like, because I don't have to worry about where cars are. Because and then I can concentrate only on my riding and not have to consider other things. So that sounds fun.
Well, the Hero is 36.5 though. So it weighs as much as the Sherman. But people still jump the Sherman.
Oh yeah, you can still jump the Sherman. With the would you say this is basically a S18 killer? Would you say that if you're thinking about an S18, this is really what you should be looking for now?
Again, before we just start to record this, I was speaking to the person that has ridden Hero. You can guess who that is. And he did kind of give me the indication that it is a step up compared to the S18. But then again, the price of the Hero is more than the S18. So it kind of depends. You want to pay more for a bit more, or do you want to have the S18, which has been on the market? It's cheaper, it's lighter. S18 is about 28 kg, by the way. So it's still.
Oh, that sounds.
A
bit more up my street.
Exactly. You know what? You actually like the S18.
I think I probably would.
I think you actually like the S18. And the S18 works. The price is, I guess, is a reasonable price. The weight is reasonable as well, and it looks good too. But is it better in terms of being a suspension wheel? I guess so, because it's got higher top speed than the S18. It's got more torque than the S18, and that's what you need for doing jumps and going over bumps and everything. But you pay more as well. So it's all relative.
I've been on like 2 group rides where there's been accidents. One was like 4 quarters, another one was recently, and both accidents, both incidents were because of basically a maxed out wheel, and both wheels with the S18. So I can totally see why this wheel, the Hero, would be that replacement, because it takes away that fear of a cutout, but gives you the suspension, gives you the comfort, gives you the movability that you need. But it gives you the extra buffer, which is a good safety aspect, I think. If you're looking for something like this, so I can see the appeal, definitely.
But then again, next year there's gonna be Hero High Speed.
Yeah, that's different.
So there's gonna be the off-roading, which is gonna come out first, and there's gonna be the high speed, which obviously, knowing the high speed, you can do 45 miles an hour. And that will probably be the fastest suspension wheel on the market.
45 with suspension is decent. That's a decent speed.
Do you find, so I'm just going to ask this question because obviously I don't know so much, do you find with suspension wheels, if you're going faster and you get those bounces, that's where the danger comes in, and that's why they're not such high speed.
Good
Or-
question.
Good question, yeah.
Very good question, Rosie. So, okay. So, one thing that I liked about the S18 is you can adjust the rebound speed.
Ah, that's good.
So, yeah, you don't get that fast rebound.
Yeah.
And that can help. In case you go really fast and hit a bump, you don't get you're not catapulted off
Yes.
easily. I think that the Hero will also have that adjustability with it as well.
I imagine so.
Exactly. Knowing Begode, right? They're very much engineers, but they're not designers. They're not that good at product development. But in terms of understanding how physics of how things work, I think that the Hero will do better at high speed. They wouldn't release a high speed version if they know that that's going to happen, right? So you're right. This suspensions you can adjust, the rebound speed.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is that, again, the thing with suspension wheel is that because of the higher sense, the higher center of gravity, when you're riding them, because they are traditionally just higher because they need that space to kind of bounce up and down, they can become quite top heavy. So that's one of the reasons why I personally don't use suspension wheel as much, because I ride more speed. I'm not a speed demon like you.
That's not.
You've done 50 miles an hour.
All right. So don't tell anyone. Telling everyone.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Okay, I need to find out when you did it.
All right, I'll send you the screen now.
Yeah. But yeah, so I prefer not to be too high up. So one of the challenges that I think the Hero will have with the high speed is that when you're that high up, it can feel a little bit unstable. If you hit a bump or something, no matter how much you've got suspension wheel, there will still be a bit of that wobble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're that high up, then
Then
you
the
need
wobbles
to
more.
be, exactly.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that brings us on to
It does.
the pièce résistance, the
Yes.
one everyone's talking about,
Yeah. The S20.
the Eagle.
The Eagle. that. I remember seeing that, thinking, "What is all of this about?" I've seen the promo video with the.
I think
Yeah.
it's
Eagle flying.
quite impossible to miss the promo video. On the day that it was leaked, the whole of my social feed was just red and black.
Yeah.
Everything there was just red and black all over.
Yeah, the Hero's the Hero's nemesis, literally. So the Hero has 1,800 watt hour battery. The S20 has 2,200.
The Eagle's landed. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
the Eagle
It's like-
literally landed. Literally.
Well, isn't it still flying in the sky right now?
Actually,
Isn't it still flying in the sky?
it's still in the
It's circling.
it's still
Yes,
circling. It's still in
circling.
design somewhere on the designer's PC. We're still waiting for
True facts. True facts. Really.
Yeah, true facts. Proof of life, so to speak. They actually exist. But obviously, this is exactly what they did last time as well with the S18. They came out with a rendering. Obviously, they did produce at least 80 to 90% of what they said they were going to produce. But we still haven't seen a prototype version. Whereas with the Hero, we've seen a more or less nearly ready production version of the Hero. The only issue I have with the Hero is that it's a little bit more expensive than I would hope it will be for what you're getting, especially with the S20. But then again, the S20 has only just promised right now. We have to then see Kingsong hit all of these milestones in terms of the specs, but also in terms of the price, but also in terms of the production and release of it as well. They can tell you they're going to release it, but they'll probably release in 2022, 2023, 2025, I don't know, but they need to do it, whereas the Hero is ready to go.
Yeah. So if you want a new wheel and you want one that does those things and you want it soon, then it's the Hero.
It's the Hero.
Or the Commander.
Yes, or the Commander.
Because they're both, they're mid-September, mid-October, your rides will be looking at them, won't they?
Yeah, you guys will be getting them in around that time.
Yeah,
First
whereas
sample.
we don't have a release date for the S20, do we?
No, it's all a little bit of it's a little bit speculation right now. There's a lot of unknowns because you still need to start the beta testing, and you don't know what you're going to find during the beta testing, right? Everything could be lucky and you can find anything and everything goes well, but then if there's an issue with the firmware, optimization needs to be there as well. Maybe one of the materials that you're using for the suspension is breaking off easily. You have to then go back and then maybe redesign it again. So there's a lot of things going on. Whereas with the Hero, they've gone through the alpha, beta, and now they want to start ramping up production, speaking to the parts manufacturer where they need to order all this little small stuff that make the entire product. They are at that stage right now. I really hope the S20 delivers on everything that's promised.
Yeah, well,
it's good looking.
It sounds amazing, and I think it looks really beautiful, actually.
Oh yeah.
And all of those, I mean, I got excited, and I've only been riding for about a month and a half. So, you know, all of these things may or may not be wasted on me fully, but I still got excited about it. But that's what they're doing, isn't it? They're building up this excitement and anticipation, which is why we wanted to talk about the other wheels coming out, so that everybody knows the differences and can know that there are other options. It's not just this one Eagle that's been thrust out there to raise your heart rate.
They have. They have
done it.
They have.
Well, they have. I'm excited.
And I have to, just shout out to my account manager at Kingsong, Jack, and he's been instrumental in organizing the marketing for Kingsong. He's from Canada, Toronto, and I think every other EUC manufacturer out there need to get someone from the western part of the world, because 90% of their customers is here, in Europe and North America, at least, if not 90%, but at least high enough, the highest, even 70-60%. And what Jack has done very well is be that middleman, be that crossover to translate what we want to what the manufacturer actually produce, or at least specify that they're going to produce. The 126 volt torque as well. And people always ask, what is that 126 volt? That's because the torque motor itself, to get that speed, you need to increase the volt. So you still have the torque and the high speed, even though it's 43 miles an hour, but we know that you can do a lot more than that, because Kingsong are traditionally more.
Exactly. Safety conscious. Safety
number
one.
I was going to say, that's what you were saying to me before, wasn't it? That it could go faster, and Kingsong have limited it in order to maintain safety. And actually, if we were talking about having speed wobbles and falling off, which obviously is something I'm concerned about right now. So for them to be safety conscious, to me it makes me feel like it's a wheel that I want to ride even more.
I think my concerns with the S20 are only around its movable parts. You've got adjustable lights, you've got adjustable power pads, which is all very nice. I know you really like that.
I really like the adjustable power pads, because I feel like that means that you can lend it to someone else and they can get the same experience as you do with it.
And then you've got the suspension, but as everybody knows, if you've got loads of movable parts on a moving vehicle, you've got more liability for breakages. Stuff is going to shake, wobble, the glue's going to come off, which happened to the S18. It could be one of those ones which I'm riding along and I've dropped off a panel, I didn't know what happened. And then,
and then you have to double back and find it.
Avoid that bus and get the panel. So I love the look of it, and I like the specs, obviously, they're fantastic. But how durable is it? Is it going to be another S18 durability developmental piece?
I think it's going to. So, I did ask about this, and what they've cleverly done is all of those parts, all of those, the limb pads and the jump side and everything, they're all, you can take them off. They're all, all removable. So, which means you can have, the wheel is basically naked. It's you can take all that parts off, and you just have a wheel with a battery case and with a suspension on the back, and you could put any sort of pads, clack pads, side pads, whatever on the side. So, which means that they've learned from their earlier mistake with the 2018 that had lots of all these little small, weirdly, awkwardly shaped parts
Yep.
that are not quite aligned properly, and some of them kind of peel off easily if you
Yep.
kind of rub them the wrong way. Now you can take off all of them and just have whatever you want to stick on there. So fingers crossed.
So fingers crossed that's what really happens.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Yeah.
And we see that
Yeah.
in person. Well, I'm still excited about it.
Yeah. But I mean, and one thing I also liked about what Kingsong has done, especially with Jack communicating this, is they've managed everybody's expectation.
Mm-hmm.
They're calling this, next year's wheel, like early summer wheel. They're not trying to make people, I guess, take your money and then make you wait. So they're telling you, by all means, put your money down. By all means, place your order as distributors, and we are going to place our order. If I think we've already placed our orders anyway, by the time this is released. But you're not going to get a wheel, at least for samples, about November, December time. Production version is not going to ramp up until about February, March, because when we get our first wheel, we're going to feed back to the manufacturer. They're going to make some more changes, and they're going to do a regression test again to make sure that whatever change they've made has not broken anything else. So we could be looking at March for the S20.
So it sounds like how you were talking about how there were problems with the S18. It sounds like they're doing what they can to make sure those problems don't actually happen. In reaching out to you guys and everybody as distributors and getting feedback and getting that testing working. It sounds to me like they've made decisions to really make sure they don't make the same mistakes again. So interesting.
And has Kuji promoted this one as well as the Hero, or is he just doing the Hero?
I think it's listen, Kuji will promote whatever wheel a manufacturer gets to him now. He's lucky, and also Jack as well. They're lucky that they're in China, whereas we have to wait for us to get ours. So they've got direct access to the manufacturer. But Kuji will be testing, at least I think he'll be testing the Hero. He likes the Hero.
Cool.
The feedback has been positive from him. The Hero is definitely better water resistant, probably the most water resistant Begode cutaway wheel ever made.
That's
good news.
Especially if you live in the UK, right?
Of course.
Yes. Water is unavoidable here.
Yeah. It's unavoidable, right? So that's a positive, I think. Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Nice. So have we covered all the new wheels that you guys wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I think we have.
I think so.
Right?
I think we have. And
So does that mean we get to talk about those things over there?
Oh, this one here. The Segway Shoes.
Yes.
Yeah, the Segway Shoes. Yeah. We went to Cyclo Park, right?
We did.
And we ran a competition for. So a bit of a context. So Carve Electric UK invited e-rides to come to Cyclo Park, and we, as a thank you, we said that we'll give away a Segway shoe to people that enter the e-rides competition. And I guess we'll be announcing it sometime today.
That's
right.
Yeah.
Exactly
Is it right now?
Do you want to?
Should we?
Do you want to?
that-
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Right. Cut to getting laptops. Right. So we are back. We've got the winner of the Segway Shoes. All I have to do is press the button because we're using a computer to randomize it. So right now it is Arif. So Arif is from, where was Arif from? Tell me, Paul, tell me.
Can you see it? I can't see it from here.
I can't see either. Too small. I think.
Where is Arif from?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So. Arif is from London!
Well done, Arif! Arif, you won a Segway Shoes.
You have!
Congratulations.
And they're really fun. I had to go on them at Cyclo Park.
Yeah, they are nice. They are
Really,
cool.
really fun.
Yeah. So you won yourself a £299 Segway Shoes, Arif?
Nice job.
So yeah, I guess
Let's ping him an email and get your address shipped out
to you.
First class.
Excellent.
There you go. So congratulations.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So, should we take this table back? Let's go.
Yeah.
These guys are crazy. At E-Rides, we are now giving away this free hoodie. This is our high-vis version of E-Rides. At E-Rides, we are all about safety as well, not just about going fast. And the reason why we've chosen this color is because it is one of the most visible color that you can, one of the most visible color in the spectrum.
Safety conscious.
Safety conscious. So yeah, with every sale of an electric unicycle or electric scooter or just any electric vehicle on our website, you will receive a free E-Rides jumper. As a thank you for supporting E-Rides and for, I guess, riding with E-Rides.
Yeah. I have to say, I really like my E-Rides hoodie. It's got great pockets that things don't fall out of. It's got a double hood, which makes a real difference when it's cold and you take your helmet off and then you're cold. You sling that on and it's brilliant. And also the colour really, really does stand out, and I feel so much safer when I've got my body armour and then that on top. I feel like people know that I'm around and they're not going to miss me, because that's one of the things that can happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
All right.
Yeah. There you go.
So, does this conclude our first
wheel talk?
Wheel talk with wheel people. Thank you for watching and listening.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rosie,
Amazing.
for being an awesome host. And and I guess that's it.
We'll do it again soon.
Thanks for the knowledge, guys. I learned a lot. I really did.
And also, guys, remember, comment below and let us know what else you want us to kind of talk about, I guess discuss. If there's anything that you want us, a particular subject that you want us to cover, we'll be happy to cover it.
Of course. And don't forget to like and subscribe, obviously.
Yeah,
obviously. Hit that bell.
Subscribe. If not for us, at least for Rosie.
Yeah,
right?
exactly for Rosie.
Thank you.
All right, take care, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.